Woohoo! And we're live once again on another Tuesday. I have the LinkedIn guru in the house today. And I just have to say, was that not an awesome banner? Because we have to give credit to Kevin D. Turner for that very cool sort of Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew graphic of our topic today, which is the mysterious case of the missing notifications. Guess who made that? That was Jeff's. That was Jeff's title. That was great. That's great. So, Jeff, before we get started, tell everybody who you are and what you do, and then we'll jump right in.
Okay, well, thank you very much for inviting me back again. This is like the fifth time we've done this, Jillian. It's great. I have so much fun coming back here because it just my face hurts after we're done, even after a half an hour, because I'm smiling so much. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. Namaste. I am Jeff Young, and I am the LinkedIn guru. That's hashtag the LinkedIn guru because I couldn't do hashtag LinkedIn guru. That was already taken. So I'm the LinkedIn guru. And if you look guru up in the dictionary, you see the word teacher. And that's exactly why I have the last son of Krypton behind me back here, because of the fact that I also introduced myself by saying, "Hi, I'm Jeff Young. I'm a teacher. What's your superpower?" Okay, so that would be me, a teacher. Okay.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're talking about missing notifications and we're talking about basically LinkedIn notifications and your settings. And are you getting the notifications that you want? Are you getting not enough? Are you getting too many? And how you can empower yourself, because there's a default, and the defaults don't work for everybody. So you might find you're not getting the notifications that you want. So Jeff is going to tell us what we should be doing. What should we be doing, Jeff, to take charge of this?
Well, first of all, let's talk about how important notifications really are. Okay, they are extremely important to me, and again, I give advice about this kind of thing all the time. You're right. Some people get too many. Some people, but it's a preference. Okay, it's all a preference, and I think the key is that I could pretty much guarantee that there's people out there that are missing notifications.
Yes.
And if you're missing a notification, it's important that you try to find a way of getting that notification, because, well, there's a reason why the word notifications and the word network start with the same letter. Okay. Networking notification, because notifications are about what your network is doing. And that's the best way I've ever seen on LinkedIn, in order to find a way of interacting with your network and starting so many conversations. And if you start more conversations, you then start more opportunities. So if you're looking for opportunities to get new connections, you're looking for opportunities to sell something, you're looking for opportunities to build a brand, notifications is pretty much where I spend a lot of my time on LinkedIn, because that's where those conversations can get started.
So what if we have some newbies in the house? What is a notification? Let's just define our terms first. What is a notification?
A notification on LinkedIn is something that has happened with your network. It's something that might tell you that somebody commented on your stuff. It's something that somebody might tell you that they've just published a newsletter. It's something that somebody might tell you that they just had a birthday. Which, oops, by the way, while we're here and we just broached that subject, you can set birthday notifications if you want to. Okay, so you can tell LinkedIn to tell you about connections' birthdays, right? Guess what? They don't do it anymore. There's a notification. Yeah, I don't. Now, let's ask the crowd. Okay, but I personally have them on, but I'm not getting any notifications about anybody in my network that has a birthday anymore. So LinkedIn has taken that one away without even really telling anybody, but hasn't removed the setting for it. So at least that's my observation. Okay.
All right.
So, and notifications can pop up on your screen in many different ways. It can actually be messaging is actually a form of notification. My network is actually a form of notification up at the top. Okay. And then of course there's the notifications tab. Oh, and by the way, even jobs has notifications associated with it. So if you're a job seeker, it's important to have those right kind of notifications set as well.
And lives. And like a LinkedIn Live, a live
Oh, thank
audio
you. Yeah.
event, these are
Yes.
notifications too.
That is a notification setting that you can turn on or turn off. And again, I really don't want to miss the fact that, well, of course, I have you on my calendar. You're on my Tuesday calendar as a repeating appointment. But I don't want to miss the fact that a lot of times I will be on LinkedIn, but it'll pop up with a notification that's usually not at the top, it's usually at the bottom. Okay. And it'll tell me someone just went live. And I've joined a lot of conversations that way as well,
Yep.
because I left that one on.
Right, right, right. And then did you mention the phone? The notifications on
Yes,
our
and that's
phone, or a
also
whole
the notification types are all of those things that we talked about. Then the next step of notifications is to realize where you're going to get
okay,
the
the
notification.
location,
Yeah, exactly. So you can get notifications via email. You can get
right?
notifications while you're on LinkedIn. You can get notifications that are called, there's 3 different categories: email, on LinkedIn, and then one called push notification, which is the ones that go to your phone. Now,
Right.
again, let's go back to the preference case here, okay? Depends on where you want and how you use LinkedIn. If you're on the phone all the time, you probably don't want to turn on any of those notifications off, or at least not very many of them, okay?
Right.
However, I don't use the phone. So me personally, I've said this before, I'm not a mobile guy, I'm a desktop guy. So I've not played with the notification settings as far as the push notifications is concerned. But what I have done on my phone is, because I don't want my phone beeping at me all the time, okay, I've gone to the app on the phone and told my phone, whether it's an iPhone, I believe iPhones can do this, or
Yes.
Androids, which mine is to turn off all of the notifications from the LinkedIn app, period. It can try as much as it wants, but I'm never going to hear it ding ever, which is perfectly fine with me. Okay.
Well, and I know on the iPhone that you can, I don't know Android enough, but on the iPhone, you can take it with sound, without sound. You can have it as a banner. You can have it on your lock screen. You can have it as a badge where you just see that there's like a number count, like, oh, there's 15 notifications, and you see that on the icon on
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
I think
So,
it's pretty
sorry,
similar.
on your home screen. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of customization, and that's probably the big message here, is that you can say what you want to be notified about and where you want to be notified
Yeah.
about. And Jeff,
Exactly.
you and I talked about email because you like getting them in email and I don't. I don't like getting emails because my email's crazy as it is. So I had to turn off my notifications and I just go to LinkedIn. That's where I get mine.
In my particular instance, though, I left them on because I honestly use email notifications as a backup.
Mm.
I might get something on an email that I didn't get actually on it. And honestly, there are no guarantees here. We are dealing with a software program. We're also dealing with infrastructure. We're also dealing with, with a funnel of what possibly can get to you at any given point in time, right?
That's true. That's
So I
true.
liked having email as a backup. But I will tell you that emails are not, by any stretch of the imagination, immediate. I have actually
Mm.
received notifications from LinkedIn that are 6 or 8 hours later on email than they
Wow.
would have been. Yeah. So they're
Wow.
processing them differently as well. So they process all these things slightly differently depending on what tool you're talking about and where you're talking about as well.
And that's interesting because I know that with newsletters, I was getting too many notifications of newsletters in my LinkedIn notifications when I was just on the desktop version of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So I actually prefer those in my email because I can see that summary. And then I can just kind of go, oh, that's an issue that looks interesting to me. And then I like to actually go and read it on LinkedIn because I can't comment, and that's the danger of emails, with the newsletters by emails. I could just read it and never comment, and you don't even know I've ever read your newsletter. So that's kind of
Right.
sad.
That's the other thing that I talked about when we did when we did our live about newsletters, is that I much
Yep.
prefer people to actually click through and get into the newsletter, because that actually gives me a view count and also gives them the opportunity to comment, which is what I want in the first place, right? And that's
Right,
actually
right.
kind of, I did a post about 6 months ago. That's kind of how this conversation all got started in the first place. Give some credit to Sanal Bahal. Okay, because she came to me and asked me, Jeff, I didn't see your newsletter. What happened? And I said,
Mm.
Well, I did one. And, and she said, well, I didn't get a notification about it. And I said, oh, well, let me look to see what you should be maybe finding out. So what I did was I went and looked at the notification settings, and there were in each of these sections, there were two particular notifications that were about newsletters. So that's one of the other cautions I want to caution people about as well. LinkedIn will ask you questions about, are you sure you want this kind of stuff anymore? Are you sure you want, and if you, depending on how you answer LinkedIn's question, you could have been turning off something that you didn't want to turn off in the notification.
Oh, I get you. I
Well,
get
that's
you. So
exactly
like
what happened with Sanal. Okay,
yep.
Sanal had actually turned off, said, did what you did, said, I don't want to hear anything about newsletters ever again,
Overwhelm.
right? And that turned off not only the fact that people announcing that they've got a new newsletter and inviting to join, but they also turned off the fact that they are getting notified that there is a new one out there. Okay. So, yep. So be very careful about that. And again, well, I can show you where those kind of things are. Okay. First of all, let me share. I don't think I'll share my post, but what we might do is drop
a link. We'll drop a link.
Yeah, we'll drop a link to my post in the comments. But for example, one of the things that I'll share my screen real quickly here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in terms of sharing my screen. Okay, got to share the whole thing. And I'm going to go here to my feed. Okay.
Okay.
Now right now I've got 7 notifications, as you can see up here. Okay? The number next to notifications says I've got 7. I'm not going to go into that, but I'm going to show you something else here for a real quick second. First of all, if I had not had the right notifications on, I would not have gotten something under my network this morning that would have been very, very important to me. I told her I was going to give her a shout out. But Debbie Weems just this morning, actually early morning, published her brand new newsletter. And there's the invitation. So I would have missed that invitation. And I waited till now. I didn't have to accept this, but I kept it here so that it would stay here. I actually have already gone out and commented on her newsletter, but I didn't accept the invitation until now. So now when I accept, I will now become one of her subscribers. So that's another place that you can get notifications, and it's important. So now I can actually go view her newsletter. So check out Debbie's newsletter. Debbie's got a great newsletter. It's got really great LinkedIn tips in it. And by the way, I'm going to stop sharing now and come back real quick. Okay.
I wanted you to. It would be nice for you to show people the ninja trick that you taught me. And that was how you can right click on a notification so that you don't lose your place. Because that's the hardest thing. If you're going to not ignore people and you want to go through your notifications, you get lost. It's easy to get lost. It's easier on the app. It's easier when you're using the app. And I actually delete notifications on the app. I learned that from John Asperian. Thank you for that tip, John. That has really helped me. But on the desktop, I was doing the right click in a new tab.
Well, and you actually did a separate post about that, so you can put a link to that post.
Okay, I'll just put a link to that post because that was a good one.
A full video about that. That was really excellent at showing everybody how to go through that process. Okay.
Should I hop over to the comments then? Okay.
Yes, please. Sure.
So we've got Seb. Hey Seb, stick around. I made a video in your honor at the end. So we'll talk about that at the end. So yay, Seb is here. Seb is here. Hey, Catherine. Hi, made it. Lovely to see you both. Gee, hi all. G is saying, I just changed my notifications from missing too much, apparently, and now getting too much. So
it's all a personal preference. Yeah.
It's a balance. It's a balance.
Okay. Hang on for a second. I want to address that. In your case, that would be really, really true. You've got a business to run. So does Jillian, et cetera. In my case, my business, quote unquote, okay, even though it's not a real business.
Being the guru.
Is LinkedIn. Exactly. So I can't get too many notifications. Honestly, if you went and looked at my notifications, there are very, very few of them that are turned off because I do not want to miss that opportunity to be notified about something that is happening in my network so that I can continue the conversation that I've got, and I don't need to be notified about Jillian stuff most of the time. Jillian and I are talking practically daily anyway,
right.
but I leave them on anyway. I mean, you can't, I guess that's another good point. You cannot pick notifications that are about a single person.
Well, unless you're talking about that silly bell.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go there, but yes, the bell is broken. But you know what? I got a small theory about that one. While we're on that subject, Jillian, if you click the notification bell on a person's profile, you know that would say I want to be notified about all their posts. Yeah, all or some or none of their posts, right? Well, first of all, you have to be following them or connected with them in order for that to happen. But secondly, I think that sometimes, depending on what you have done inside your LinkedIn notifications, you might be putting the kibosh on what you might have gotten from that person in the first place, depending on other settings. There are layers upon layers of this stuff
Wow,
about
it's
how,
confusing.
and each one of these things is a gate that the notification has got to get through in order to get to
Wow.
you. Okay.
Wow. And I know that you've even talked about, we haven't even talked about groups, but there's notifications in groups. So
There's a
if you're
bell in the
part of a
group that is
group and
totally
you
separate.
join,
That's
yeah,
exactly
if you
right.
join a LinkedIn group, you want to make sure that you're getting those notifications because those have different settings within the group. So yes, this has layers and layers and layers. Hey, we got Vicky.
Vicky and
Hi.
I just had an actual face-to-face not too long ago.
Oh, that's
Yeah, we
always
actually got
nice.
to meet. We met halfway between Cincinnati and Columbus, Ohio. It was great.
Oh, isn't that awesome? That's awesome. That's awesome. And we got G again. So this is super timely as it's been cumbersome. As much as I adore my LinkedIn peeps, it's tough keeping up. It is.
It
It is.
is.
And I actually, you can get sick and go off LinkedIn for a week or two. Maybe you actually take a vacation and you have some time off of LinkedIn and you come back and you're just like overwhelmed. There's so much to keep up with.
Well, and again, personally, again, I'm only talking about in my humble opinion. Okay, I have made a commitment to my network to do that. I have made a commitment to keep up. Okay, and
Yes.
again, it's tough to do. Speaking of which, for this particular this particular live, I got to tell you that I'm going to get about 100 notifications and I'm going to get about 100 emails. Then some of those are going to be duplicated, but that's okay with me. I will process every single one of them because, like you, Jillian, I got to do this. Like you, I want to make sure that I do go back to my network and I do engage with them and answer every single comment, that at least every single comment on your live that's meant for me. Okay.
Danielle Guzman would approve because we talked about that on our live, that it's never too late. Even if you find a comment from a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, still the conversation can be picked up. Don't go, oh, it's been too late. You have a story.
Thank you for reminding me. Here's another one. Okay. I just got a notification a day or two ago, and I think I sent it to you, about someone who actually commented, someone who actually shared one of my newsletters from February of 2021. Somebody
Wow.
shared my newsletter from that long ago. Okay. Now, if I had not gotten that notification, I would not be able to go out there and say, thank you for sharing my stuff. That's a perfect opportunity because that starts the conversation with this person, right?
Right,
Could be another
right,
great
right.
opportunity.
Right. And I think now that we've made this move to newsletters, and we always have to remember articles and newsletters are indexed by Google. And so it's long form content, but it's also long life content. And I have found people through Google searches, gone to their articles and then started conversations with something they posted 2 or 3 years ago because it's
Yep.
still relevant.
Yep.
And so you just have to remember, keep those conversations going. That could be a brand new person to bring into your network. So that's pretty cool. Oh, we have the lovely Stella. Glad I made it to see and learn from 2 of my LinkedIn faves. Woo-hoo-hoo. Woo-hoo-hoo. G's got more to say. Yay, the birthday thing. I thought it was just
See,
me.
yeah, personal preference. Some people like them, some people don't really want to hear about it. Yep.
Well, and isn't it funny how we always think it is just me? It is just me. Yay, Catherine. Yay. Jihan, yes, especially when it's not my full-time job to be on LinkedIn. It's
Exactly.
not. It's
Exactly.
not. It sometimes it feels like that. It's like, okay, do you ever somebody did a poll the other day and it was just like, are you on LinkedIn every minute? minute, and it's like, just about, I take time to sleep, but that's about it. I noticed that and was wondering, I thought it was a user error. I got the notification for this live. So there we go. It's
Yes, perfect.
working. Stella's proof, Stella's proof. Hey, hey,
Hey,
hey.
Sarah Clay.
It is Sarah Clay, and we just love Sarah with her LinkedIn. We're her favorite LinkedIn lovelies. That makes us chuffed. We're
There we
chuffed.
go. Thank you. It's time for a chuffed.
We have to add chuffed into every show. Vicky O'Neill, I agree, and I don't like feeling guilty about it, but that's just me. And I think it's true. I think we do feel guilty that and that's why I don't often go and I try to focus on what I can focus on, because you can feel like sometimes you'll get a notification that's totally irrelevant. That was my whole Simon Sinek thing, that it was just like, no matter what I did, I was unfollowing him and I was still getting, and his notifications were at the top of my feed. And it was like, meanwhile, people I wanted to hear from, I didn't. And I don't want to go, I don't have time to reply to Simon Sinek's
Well, you,
post.
you should never approach something from the FOMO, right? You should never
Yeah.
approach something from the fear of missing out. It's
Yeah.
not, the reason I have the notifications is not fear of missing out. The reason I have the notifications is because that's how I roll. That's how
Well,
I
and
roll
it's
to
good etiquette.
interact with my network. Okay.
Yeah, and that's good, and that's something that Danielle Guzman and I talked about. It's like, you want to practice good etiquette. Don't do things to people online that you wouldn't do in person. So if somebody responds to your posts and you ignore them, would you do that in person? Of course not. So
No.
just be kind. Be
Yeah.
kind. It
Well,
makes sense.
and remember another thing about, again, being that this is a software tool, okay? You might go out today and you might change it, you might turn off, some notifications. But
Yep.
even when you do that, don't expect that to necessarily, just like your situation that you just described, Jillian, don't expect it to necessarily be immediate. It may actually take some
No, it
time.
takes a while.
Exactly. It may
I
take
got
some time for it
Simon's
to take
stuff for
effect.
another couple days. I got his stuff for another
Yep.
couple days, and
Yep.
and also too, he was interesting because he was an influencer. I don't even know what that means. Like, he's part of this LinkedIn influencer thing. So even when I unfollowed him, it was like LinkedIn wanted to keep pushing it out to me.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird.
That's kind
But
of an old designation where LinkedIn picked a certain group of people who had a huge number of followers. I mean,
right.
Richard Branson and Bill Gates and, those kinds of influencers. Okay.
Big wigs, big
There
wigs.
he is.
Here's our lovely Kevin Turner, our graphic artist of the day. Love the book cover, arriving late but ready to
You
listen
should love the
and
book cover.
learn.
You did it.
We just love that book cover. That was just way cool, Kevin. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, he's so talented. He's so talented. And
I was
we
talking
have
with
the
you.
lovely
There
Debbie,
she
who we
is.
gave a shout out to your newsletter
I
today.
did give a
So
new, yeah. So subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Okay.
that's great. That's great. We love it, Debbie. We love it. Wishing you good luck as you launch. Debbie having trouble as well. Uh-oh. I don't know what they were.
I
Oh,
wonder
oh,
what
just
that trouble.
trying to just connect today. Okay.
Oh, the
Love the
ninja trick.
ninja trick. Love that ninja trick. Won't miss this for the world. And I just got notified of this live 5 minutes ago, 12 minutes into the event.
See, nothing is necessarily immediate. Okay, it
Yeah.
is software. It takes a time. It takes a while to catch up sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. So thank goodness for the replays. So that's always good that we do have these replays, so that, when we're over, it kind of keeps going and going and going. I really love that you guys were able to connect in person,
It's been a
that you and
long time,
Vicky.
believe me, a
That
long.
that was awesome. Did you guys take pictures?
No, we didn't. That was my fault. I totally forgot.
You should
We
have.
we even did a we even did a video once and sent it to who across the pond.
Right, right. Oh no, she can't
Oh,
get the
can't get the
sound to
audio.
work.
Oh, okay, that's right.
It's frustrating when the notifications. So with the notifications, oh, I just had a thought and it disappeared. Okay, so we talked about, we're going to add in the link of the ninja trick, which is right clicking, and then it opens it up in a new tab.
Right.
For newbies, just know that, like, if it's blue, it's a new notification. If it's white, you've seen it. Sometimes it can be, I'll just tell you this from experience. Sometimes it can be a little tricky if I do some stuff on the phone and I do some stuff on the desktop, and I find that with like LinkedIn Lives, I'll just tell you, it's almost impossible. It is impossible to
It is
use the standard
on the desktop.
notifications to respond to a LinkedIn Live comment. You just can't. So you have to kind of do this workaround. And I did a whole newsletter about that. So I'm going to go there. So I use my phone, or because I'm older, I like my iPad because I can see things and I can, easily tap and comment on my iPad or my phone. But I think sometimes it doesn't feel like it works well. So if I could respond to some notifications on my phone, then when I go back to the desktop, they're still there. And so there's not always that syncing happens instantly either.
Okay. All right, I got
So,
one more tip that is how
okay.
you get into this stuff in the first place, right?
Okay.
I want to make sure that we tell folks that if you want to change your notification settings, okay,
Right.
you could mess around trying to find it in settings and privacy, blah 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 blah. You're gonna go all of that kind of stuff. Again, this will be focused on both the desktop and the mobile app. I'll tell you the desktop first. If you want to make changes, go to the notifications tab, click on it, okay? And as soon as you click on the notifications tab, look over on the left-hand side up toward the top, and it will say something that says view settings. Okay,
Okay.
so that'll get you the first instance of this on LinkedIn. So click view settings, and now you can start through. And when
Okay.
you get there, I highly recommend that there are hundreds of these things. Okay, it's going to be overwhelming, but take your time and go through and try to think about what each one of these would mean to you. But I'm going to focus you on notifications, view settings. Okay, on LinkedIn, check out the network one that is the subcategory of all those, because that's where it's talking about what your network's doing, including the newsletter one that I talked about, and all of those are actually listed in alphabetical order. So you can go
Okay.
from A to N, okay, and check that there are actually two settings about newsletter invitations and newsletter subscriptions. Okay, so those two are important. They're important to me anyway, because I've been publishing a newsletter for almost 2 years.
Right. Right.
Okay, now
Right.
that's on the desktop. It's different, of course, on
On
the
the phone.
mobile app. Yep.
Right.
And I did try it on my iPad and on my Android phone. Okay. Instead of going, you have to go to the notifications tab again. Click notifications. I think it's usually at the bottom where there's an actual tap of notifications. Okay. Now, in order to get this to the settings, what you've got to do is pick one of those notifications that's up there and tap the three dots. Once you
Oh.
tap the three dots, you see another thing that says settings. And then when you click
Oh.
the settings, that will take you to where I just described as far as the desktop is concerned.
Got
Okay,
it.
so
Got it. Got
that's
it.
the tough part. So remember how to get there depending on where you are and where you spend most of your time. But
Oh,
that's how you
yeah.
can start the process of setting these things. And don't think that you got to do this all in one day either. I mean, you
No.
might want to take this in bite-sized chunks because, as
True.
I said, there are hundreds of these things out there. So you should take a
That's
look
true.
at them, figure out what they really mean, and I'll be the first to admit that I don't know everything there is to know about notifications on LinkedIn. Okay, but I have been using it for a while, so I'm a little like farmers insurance. I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two, and it's gotten to work. Okay.
I love that. I love that. And I'll just add in, I'm only saying this as an iPhone user, that if you want to customize how you get those notifications pushed to you on your iPhone, then you have to go into your iPhone settings, notifications, find the LinkedIn app, and that's where you choose the banners, the lock
Yep. Yep.
screen, the
That's another
badges.
layer, right? Yep.
It's
Exactly.
another layer.
Another
So, and
layer.
then at the very bottom of that, you can tap and go back to LinkedIn. So it's kind of interesting. It's a circle. It's a circle. So just know that there's a lot to this. It's not a simple topic, like you
Yeah.
said. So
Yeah.
start small, ask the LinkedIn guru for questions, and we're good. So, okay, Jeff, we're coming up to the 30-minute mark. It just always goes zoom, zoom, zoom. Would you like to leave us with some words of wisdom to kind of wrap all this up today?
Yeah, let's summarize in terms of, again, I think more than anything else, the word of wisdom that I would be to make it your own, make it work for you. Okay, it's one of those things that is kind of like, it's kind of like a gym membership. Okay, you know, if you don't go to the gym and you don't learn how to use the equipment, it probably won't work for you. Okay, so LinkedIn is very much like that. Notifications is one of those types of things inside of LinkedIn. So make it work for you. You're going to have to do it by actually spending a little time and practicing and figuring it out. Or again, ask
Awesome.
somebody how to do something, which I can always help with as well.
I love that. I love that. Okay, well, thank you very much for being here today, Jeff. It was absolutely awesome. You just always give us great advice. We'll probably do some sort of follow-up to this because we always seem to do that. So we'll just jump in and we'll do something about that and put in all the different links to all the other things that we talked about as well. So
Yeah.
I think that will be good. And please join us back here next week, everybody, for another LinkedIn Live with Jillian. So
And you
thank
should
you, everybody,
you
and
should
we'll
talk
see you
about
soon.
Sebastian again.
Oh, so just as a plug, LinkedIn Seb made a post this week, and he talked about when you do a LinkedIn Live like this, that you shouldn't just click end broadcast because you could get on a goofy screen and you're like, you're doing some weird pose or something like that. So it was his suggestion that we make outros for our LinkedIn Live so that it's like that's how it will end. So I made one. I listened to Seb. Seb is smart. He's a smart fellow. So I went, hey, that's a really good idea. So I made a little outro. It's like 2 seconds. It's really like not that long, but I'm going to experiment and try this. So Seb, this one's for you. So bye, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. I think we're still live.
Oh, didn't work.
You didn't stop the live?
Okay, Seb, don't watch. I'm gonna just hit the button.